In this episode of Traditional Media in Transition, see how Warner Brothers used New Media Studio for your imagination to promote Watchmen.
For Your Imagination is a digital media studio. We develop, package, and distribute original high-quality videos. The ability to distribute your content everywhere on the web is one of the promises of web video, that I can take my content and I can put it out there and millions of people are going to look at it. Just because it's out doesn't mean it's going to be seen. You really have to become part of the conversation that your content lives in, and then you have to be able to engage your audience. As a company involved in web video and really believing in the super syndication or super distribution model, we've tried to build our distribution upon 4 principles. And the first is that we always start with building a robust destination site. Then we look out into what are the communities out there that we can tap in that support video. Your basic video sharing websites, using the TubeMogul platform to kind of push it out and then see how it works and see how it responds. The next layer of distribution involves reaching out to the influencers, the real fans of the content, and the final tier is going then even more deeper into the vertical and finding sites that have content regarding our topics and creating relationships with them to carry the content and allowing the content then to find the audiences even deeper. So we've been fortunate to work with Warner Brothers, the WATCHMEN. This project in particular is built around our comedy video network called Axis of Comedy. We first started off with understanding that our comedy network could be that mechanism to deliver the mainstream audiences and appeal to the comic book fans by targeting 3 web series: Abigail's Teen Diary, The Retributioners, and Mephistopheles.
Yeah, we had superheroes in my day. People who stood up for truth and justice. They were called philosophers. What?
Those are the entry points for the mainstream audiences.
God! Can be such a jerk sometimes!
And pairing it with our comic book web series called Kyle Piccolo.
Douches! You better not be trying to figure out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop again. Douches! What the hell?
Which in some ways acts as an airlock preparing you to enter into the Watchmen world, which is an exciting movie for the comic book fans.
I think I had a premonition.
You always start with understanding the audience first. The important part of it is not being lazy. If we know what their interests are, let's go specifically to that site. In some cases, we've seen 60, 70% click-through rates on initiating video plays on these sites. The more general we get, maybe we only see 10 to 15% click-through rates on the video, but it's not as beautiful of a number as 60 to 70%. That's when you know you tapped right into their soul and it's something they really want to watch.
This is what I've been trying to say. I'm not interested in just one show or one person. I've got commitment issues. I just feel... I'll show you. All I'm saying is that I like variety.
One of the challenges that the online video marketplace faces right now is understanding it in context to what people are already doing. If you're going to buy a spot on TV or buy time on TV, you know the number of DMAs. That doesn't exist at all in web video. There is no hole. If you were to add up the video views of all the different sites, they equal so much more than people are actually watching. You can't apply the traditional TV approach of understanding it as the whole to this. You have to say, this is what I want because these are my final goals. So what we do is we say every video view is probably worth 1 pre-roll and 80% of that view is worth an overlay. And then 10% is worth a post-roll. Once you know how many post-rolls you need, Then you know how many video views you need. And you'll also know how many pre-rolls you're going to deliver and how many overlays based on that breakdown. At some point, we need that go back to that original discipline of understanding what your sales objectives are. That, to me, is what needs to change. It needs a couple of good case studies, a couple of companies really to take that lead and really integrate the sales and the marketing together into one nice, interactive, integrated package versus that separation of church and state.